We visited IQOR located in SM Fairview, Tower 5. So sa mga gusto mag-apply, at least I can give you a glimpse of how the IQOR office looks like. Here in IQOR, meron kayong tag which you need to use in and out, tap in, tap out. For security purposes actually, para sa ganun, walang naiiwan. They do have their clinic here, meron ding karaoke, playroom, at meron sila ditong outside garden na pinasyalan na namin na napakagandang tambayan kapag sabihin na natin na ikaw nagre-relax at nagpapahinga. Kasi you can see the beautiful Metro Manila up to Rizal. Siyempre medyo mainit dito kasi umaga kami nung nagpunta. Pero during night time daw ay napakaganda itong place na to na talaga namang gustong-gusto ng mga empleyado. Siyempre pa, on top of that is the IQOR emblem. We also visited the training area.
We actually thank you for making time. I know this is like half of your afternoon or the whole afternoon kasi you traveled back here, right? So thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Again, my name is Marilu Vergara. My nickname is Louie Vergara. Louie. And again, we are IQOR Philippines. So just to give a background, like who we are. So IQOR is a BPO company, and we are comprised of about 40,000 amazing employees across the globe. In fact, we have 10 countries globally, and we are passionate about giving outstanding customer experience to our clients, and these are top brands across the globe, right? So behind IQOR's 25 years success, of course, is our people, and we are passionate about our people. Today, we would like to give you one of the initiatives or introduce to you IQOR CARES as part of IQOR Philippines initiatives, right? So, what is IQOR CARES? IQOR CARES is a non-profit charitable organization created to provide a platform for our employees to help other employees. We call them IQORians. Our executives here have worked tirelessly to make this initiative come to life behind the scenes, really. And they will share more details about IQOR CARES with you today. To lead the discussion is James Down, or we dearly call him Jim. He's our Senior Operations Director, and at the same time, he's the chairman of the IQOR CARES Steering Committee, and he will explain the development of IQOR CARES to ensure that every aspect of the program revolves around supporting IQORians. And then, of course, Mikey De La Peña, our VP for Operations, and at the same time, he heads the Marketing Committee of IQOR CARES, will discuss how we are actively engaging our employees and expanding the program or sustaining the program, right? So without further ado, please welcome our first speaker, James Down. Or Jim.
Thank you, Lily. Hi, everybody. Just before I get into the IQOR CARES, just a little background about myself, which might lend some credence to some of the things I'm going to say about IQOR. I started with IQOR in 2003, so I just over 20 years now that I've been with IQOR. The last 13 years I've spent in Davao, which is where I'm based out of. And you know, Louis mentioned that our success is in our people, and if you go to my office, I have a poster on the wall that says that exact same thing. Our success is in our people. Everything that we do, everything that I do, everything that Mikey does, everything that our marketing team does, everything that we do in operations, we do for our people. And not only to support them and and help them grow and help them flourish in their careers. But a majority of our people are young, I mean, very, very young. So we help them in their lives. We have the I'm going to pronounce it, I'm going to try to pronounce it, probably going to pronounce it wrong. Bayanihan, did I say it right? Yeah, there you go, that's it. We cultivate that spirit within IQOR. And with IQOR CARES, it gives our folks an opportunity to give back to the community, to give back to those people that they work with every day, which is just a great, great thing. Our IQOR CARES mission is really, really simple, right? Is to provide financial support to IQORians and their family members and to our communities that we operate in situations that arise that cause financial hardships on our families. I need to be closer to here. Yeah, sorry about that. We also do a lot of charitable work within the communities that we work in. We support various different youth organizations. We do a lot of volunteer work. Like for example, we used to do tree planting, clean up the park, clean up the river. A lot of community activities that our teams are engaged in. What we do, we help. That's exactly what we do. And through something about IQOR CARES is the donations that we get come from all of the members within IQOR in the Philippines. IQOR has about 40,000 employees worldwide. About 80% of those are based here in the Philippines. And all of those folks donate. Not only do they donate in the form of cash, they donate in the form of their time, spending time out in the communities, working with the local communities to help the communities thrive. Who's covered? Any IQORian, any employee that's been with us for at least 90 days is covered. Their spouses and their domestic partners and unmarried dependent children can all qualify for IQOR CARES. What do we cover? We cover a lot of things. What you see on the screen is just some of the things that we cover. Natural disasters, fires. We had a big fire in Davao a few months back where two of our IQORian family members, their homes were burnt to the ground. We provided financial support to them. Transitional housing, care of a family member. We do a lot of times medical emergencies arise and insurance gets depleted. We provide financial assistance to our employees and their family members to cover those financial or those medical expenses that come up. So a lot of different things, not just what you see there, but a lot. We kind of limit the financial assistance that we provide to 3 events during your time with IQOR, and it's capped at 100,000 pesos per event, although, like anything, it can be waived depending on the particular situation. We have a couple of testimonials we'd like to share with you.
So in August 2021, I came down with a very severe case of Delta variant of COVID. And at first I thought I would be able to manage that at home, but I quickly found out that that couldn't be the case, so I needed to get to the hospital. Unfortunately, there was a rise of COVID at that time, and there was really a lack of hospital beds around. Our IQOR HR department found that out, and they were able to help me find a hospital. The only other problem was, since I was hooked up to oxygen, I needed an ambulance to get there. The HR department found that out too, and they were able to get us an ambulance right away on the same day. And though the recovery was really long, and it was a big struggle, I recovered, and I'm glad I was able to get home. And another great thing was that IQOR CARES was able to find out that my hospital's bills were really big, and they were able to help out. And my family, me, are very grateful to IQOR CARES and the whole company for helping us out in my time of need. So in August 2021, I came down with a very severe case of Delta.
I've been a doctor for 3 years now. Started as an expert, became a mentor, and then eventually a coach. Having friends here at IQOR makes my work more meaningful because I get to deal with people I consider family. The pandemic really challenged me, but IQOR was there to help. When my kids were hospitalized, the company HMO covered the bills. When tragedy struck my family, my colleagues at IQOR were my source of strength. But just when I thought I had my fair share of trials, another incident struck again. My home, which I had built for my family, caught fire. Half of it was destroyed, and the rest was deemed unsafe. I was really devastated, both emotionally and financially. Thankfully, IQOR CARES stepped up in a big way. Their assistance helped me rebuild my life.
Through all these trials, I am grateful to belong to a company that puts employees first.
A company that puts in employees first, that kind of resonates with me. You know, I said I've been doing this for 20 years. It's not easy. I've worked at night for 20 years. And the only reason why I do it is because of the people that I'm surrounded with when I come to work every single day. Some of the most caring people that I've ever met. That's why I chose to live here in the Philippines, because of how caring and how loving everybody is. You know, I think back to when I first joined the organization. You know, there would be a death in a family, or there'd be some tragedy that happened, and we go and pass the hat around, or we pass the envelope around. And what IQOR Care does is it ensures that when that hat and that envelope get passed around, that there's no guessing. Is there going to be enough money to help me in my time of need? IQOR Cares is going to ensure that there's going to be enough money to help our people in time of need, which is a great, wonderful thing. You know, IQOR Cares started in the U.S. in 2019, and I have to look at my little cheat notes. And since then, we've helped 187 folks here in the Philippines with an amount of 9.6 million pesos, about 51,000 pesos per case. It's just a great thing that IQOR Cares does for our folks. We launched IQOR Cares in the Philippines in May. It's officially now a nonprofit organization. Prior to that, we were supported by IQOR Cares in the U.S. To date, about 25% of our folks, just over 8,000, are participating in the form of donations to help their fellow IQORians. Here in the Philippines, IQOR Cares Philippines, that started in May. So far, we've given out we've helped 54 members, and we have about 38 that are getting ready to go out as I speak. We do have a process in place that when something tragic happens, the family member or the employee will apply. It will go through a very fast approval process. And once approved, the cash is dispersed. I could sit here all day long and I can give you examples of situations that have happened. You know, for example, in Iloilo in April, one of our employees had a baby that was born with a congenital heart disease, and the baby died 3 weeks later. We provided funding to help that person, that family, with their tragedy. We had another family member in Davao whose father had coronary disease, and the insurance was depleted. They didn't have enough money to pay the hospital. IQOR Care stepped in and provided them the funding that they needed to pay for the hospital. In Dasma, we had the death of a common-law spouse. We provided funds to support the funeral, and at the same time The spouse was in the hospital when the other spouse passed away. So just one tragedy after another. And it's just a great thing to have an organization in place that provides assistance to folks that are really, really in need. So how do we sustain this? How are we going to sustain it? How are we going to support IQOR CARES? Mikey will share that with us.
And just to start, I want to say one thing, which came out organically when we launched this program last May, which is the statement, IQOR CARES, IQORians Act. So, Louis, if I could just tell a little bit of my own story, right? So I'm just as old as Jim in call center years, 20 years. But 18 of my years were spent with another company. I was a 32-year-old. I had bills to pay when I had some. I was running my own business. When I had some money, I had some. When I had no money, I had negative. My cell phone would be ringing almost every day because Citibank would call me for 100,000 credit card bill that I had, which I had no means to pay for. I was living in a room. We were living in a room in a house, maybe 1/8 the size of this area. It was just a mattress surrounded by computers because I used to fix computers for a living. Anyway, every Sunday, I come from Baguio, by the way, born and raised. Every Sunday in the Baguio Midland Courier, there was an ad in the back advertising that company I used to work for, call center, it said. So my mom was still alive at the time, and my wife would ask me, why not apply? Why not this? I kept on pushing back because of my dreams of that business, right? But finally, I relented and got hired. I was an undergrad, and that's why I couldn't become a trainer. I wanted to become a trainer. I had some training experience. So I started as an agent in 2004. I wanted and dreamed to become a manager. My wife would buy me clothes from the ukay, so I would dress up in a suit, even if I was an agent. So I became that supervisor, I became that manager, I became a director, I became a VP of that company before I retired in 2021. So the need to give back is a promise I made myself because that bill is paid for. We made a down payment on the house, the phone I wanted, all of these things, right? But in 2021, my wife started having headaches, and this was in the middle of COVID, right? Remember that time when we didn't know if it was safe to go to the hospital? So it was at that time when I left that other company because I thought it was serious. So I'm fast forwarding, please forgive me. I thought it was serious. Now we know that it was not as serious, it was hormonal. She was going into menopause, and menopausal state, that's why, right? So 8 months into my retirement, what I thought was my retirement, I realized that even if I had started to motorcycle around Baguio, which was my dream, even if I started to make furniture, which was another dream of mine, YouTube taught me how to do furniture, that I missed dealing with people. This is what I love to do. This industry. And my promise, remember, that I made to myself. I said, 8 months in, you're lying to yourself, Mikey. You said you wanted to give back. You're lying. So I put myself back out there. I was a finalist in 3 companies. I was really very blessed to be able to choose, right? Very few people have the chance to choose which company they join. There's 3 companies, 3 big BPOs that I could have joined. I joined IQOR, even if it took me away from Baguio. It took me all the way to Cavite, which is where I came from, and drove up this afternoon. Because of one particular thing. In IQOR's values, it says there is a need to give back. And that was it. Need to give back. Intentional. In Tagalog, sinasadya. Diba? You need to do it. You don't just want to do it, you need to do it. And that's my long story of why I'm here today. When we were given the chance, Jim and I, to represent IQOR CARES as part of the steering committee, to talk about IQOR CARES with all of you fine folks today, we said yes. Louis said, it's going to be in the afternoon. I said, still yes. Louis said, you need to travel to Fairview. He said, yes. Because this is the least we can do, right? To be able to share with you what this all is. So, the need to give back, again, is one of the IQOR values. Let me show you a video of the launch we did last April, well, April into May, where we went through all of our sites in the Philippines talking about IQOR CARES. So Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, we have here today is the number 25%, meaning 1 out of every 4 IQORians are participants in the program. These are not Philippine numbers, but at least in the US, when you talk about employee participation in a program like this, the number is usually 5 or 8 to 10%. So when you were talking about the Philippines, they said, can you do 10? Can you do 15? But we said confidently, and I remember this was last year, 25% at the minimum. So we kind of celebrated, not kind of, we did celebrate the 25% when we got it, 1 out of 4. Still a lot more of that donate in terms of, like Jim was saying, time and resources. So how do we sustain the program, right? It's one thing to launch successfully, that's fine. But this is not a 1-year thing, 1 month thing, 1 week thing. This is continuous. So first thing is, of course, you have employee donors. There's many different ways you can donate, but this is the main piece, which is a website you go to. You click here, and you can do either a one-time donation or a payroll deduction, which is what a lot of our employees went ahead and did. We need to drive that and kind of remind people, right? I'm not really a marketing person. I do have the marketing group in IQOR CARES, and Louis and the team has helped us as a group, the whole steering committee, to help tell the story. And they said, quarterly there needs to be a fundraising activity. So every 3 months we do something. Actually, every month we do something. There's a major event every quarter, but every month we do something. In some sites, for example, they do a dress down activity, or not activity, an initiative, right? So if you want to wear shorts to come to the office, some of the sites said, okay, if you donate to IQOR CARES, you'll be given a special badge you put on your ID, and you can show it to the guard and say, I have the dress down pass. Right? Still following company policies, of course, but you get to do that. So creative ways of doing that. They auction cakes, they auction many different things, but we do regular activities. The next one, at least for Q4, is the month of caring, an entire 30 days where all of the sites participates in activities like this. Awareness. This is what I'm talking about. Even when I was going through my interviews, and certainly when I went through my new hire orientation, all of the IQOR CARES values, or all of the IQOR values were talked about, and we introduced the IQOR CARES concept to them. And what I found was, Jim and I attend every time we have a new class here. What I found was, when we talk about IQOR CARES, there's a light that shines in people's eyes, a light bulb that shines, because they I think, confirm that they're joining the right company. And they go through, and a lot of them have gone through nightmares of, you know, this thing where if you need money, you give your ATM to some guy who every month, you know, exactly that. Right? So we get to avoid all of that just by participating in IQOR CARES. All right. Lastly, we have a couple of videos to share with you. In the video, Jeff is a colleague of mine. We joined the company same time, about 2 years ago, and his site is actually doing 38% participation rate. So it's we're very competitive, all of us in this industry. So the goal is to beat Jeff. At least my goal is to beat Jeff. And the second person, the video, if you notice, she was a beneficiary first, and she has continued to become a donor. Just continuing to talk about sustainability. Charity begins at home, but even before IQOR Cares, all of the sites, all of the programs have been doing outreach activities like this. You're no stranger to this, right? You go to any video, they will share with you pictures like this. IQOR Cares just means we will have a little more fun, to intentionally, again, give back to our communities. So, in behalf of Jim, Louie, and the team, we just really want to thank you for spending this afternoon with us in our Fairview site and allowing us to share with you the story of IQOR Cares. Again, IQOR Cares, IQOR Insight. Thank you very much.
But my question is, could you inform us on how many employees does IQOR have at the moment here in the Philippines alone?
Oh, about 24,000, around that, around 24,000.
It's a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And how many sites is that?
I think we have 17 different sites.
Wow.
Yeah, there's several up in Clark. We have here in Fairview. We have in Santa Rosa. We have in Dasmariñas, Cavite. We have in Davao. We have 2 in Davao. We have 4 or 5 in Iloilo, Talisay, Bacolod.
Yeah. Thank you.
All over.
Thank you.
And growing.
Wow.
Growing. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I will understand. If you happen to leave IQOR, will you still able to help them? Or not?
Yeah, I think the nice thing about IQOR Cares is, first of all, I don't think Jim and I have any plans of doing that. For me personally, I said this is my last and final thing. So the next 10, 15 years will be here. Anyway, IQOR Cares will go way long after we leave. Right? That's the nice thing about it. It's not one single person or one single day. It's a continuous thing. That's the beauty.
You need a mic? I'll give you the mic.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. Number one, how would you differentiate IQOR compared to all the other BPO firms in the country operating today? And number 2, how many % of your operations are contact center or BPO? Or if you have contact center?
Thank you, James.
Mikey's been with another call center here in the Philippines. I have not. I've been with IQOR since 2003. What sets us apart? I mean, I know all the other call centers. I know people in all the other call centers. I could probably give you a list of hundreds of people that have left IQOR to go to Teleperformance, to go to Concentrix, to go to Cytel, and they all come back. And I asked them, well, why do you come back? We come back because of the environment that we create at IQOR. Every time I give a presentation and have an organizational chart, at the top of that organizational chart are our agents, the folks that are out there every day and every night supporting our customers. That, for me, that's a big difference between IQOR and everybody else.
I agree. So 2 years this August, I have seen nothing but what you said, which is the inverted pyramid. Usually you have everyone here at the bottom, and you have the president, CEO, or someone like me, VP Senior Director. But on a daily basis, just example after example of what it means to be in that inverted pyramid. It's a responsibility when you're down there to support everyone else, because without that, the pyramid tumbles over. I think that's what differentiates, and that's, for me personally, that's why I joined IQOR, right? But you'll see slides like this for every BPO company. We get to live it every day. We are witnesses every day.
Thank you. Any more questions? Another James? Oh,
It's a great name. It's a great name.
Hi, good
Need more mics.
Yes, I just want to ask, earlier I saw the criteria that are actually eligible for IQOR CARES. I just want to ask if IQOR CARES also open for like LGBT partners or let's say adopted child or son or daughter of the employee of IQOR.
I do apologize for having one mic. It's an exercise. Yeah.
First thing I want to say about that is IQOR is one of the companies who was a pioneer in introducing diversity in DEI, right? The whole concept of that. And that's why even in coming up with IQOR CARES, that, you know, that single parent, whether you're LGBT or not, if you're an employee and you fall under those categories, you're eligible for sure, right? Like a common law partner. Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And we're not bound by what you saw on the screen, right? There's always circumstances. There's always things that come up that, if appropriate, we're going to do the right thing, right, for our people.
Yeah, out of all of the, and Jim, keep me honest, right? What we heard, we meet every week, and what we've heard was there has not been any application that has been turned down. None has been turned down. Which means to say that people, when they come to IQOR CARES, they have, for lack of a better word, a valid, really need for it, and that's why they're 100% of all the applications have been approved.
In connection with that, what you said a while ago. Sorry, it's
Okay. You're right, you're good.
Okay, in connection with what you said, up to what extent does IQOR CARES deliver? I mean, ano yung pinaka-malaking or pinaka-maximum help that you extend?
100,000. 100,000. You can have 3 events.
Okay.
Events, right? And up to 100,000 per event.
Per event?
Yes, per event.
Mamaya na natin.
From James again. We have an interested applicant here.
That's Marina?
In connection with Ms. Nerisha's question, so this is per event.
Yes.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's an employee had like I think in Cebu. So is it considered like one event? Like the house has been
Burned.
Devastated, and then her mom died at the same time. So is it gonna be considered one event, or is it gonna be different events?
What's in the application, right?
Yeah.
We'll consider the application as one event. The mom died because the house burned down, right? It's 2 different things, but it's one event.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
What you put in the application is considered that one. Yeah.
Okay.
You said a while ago that you haven't turned any application for any help, right?
Yes.
Is it okay to divulge how many applications you've?
Oh, it's the number you saw earlier. 54 plus 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, 53 plus 40.
For the span and
From January to May.
Just
2023, yes. Yeah.
Well,
The cool thing about that is, so IQOR CARES became registered in the Philippines in April, but even before that, right, 2018 you said?
2019.
2019, we were already accepting applications for IQOR CARES. And that was funded by IQOR Global. Right? So that's the beauty of it. Now it can be Pinoys, IQORian Pinoys, and adopted Filipinos, helping other IQORians.
But is there a limit to how many application can an employee apply? Like, syempre minsan hindi natin masabi, parang, ikaw na ba talaga yung sinalo mo na lahat? Parang
Like the
gano'n.
other testimony.
I think kaya meron yung tatlo eh. Kaya may guidelines na gano'n. Right? Again, like Jim was saying, maaring if you already had your 3, let's just say,
Yeah.
right? and you know, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow, next year. If it happens again, I think that in the IQOR environment, that person will apply. Now it's up to the IQOR board now to decide, okay, this employee already has 3. Do we go to 4 versus all of the other applicants? Because one of the things that the marketing push has done is it also increased the number of applicants. Right? That's why that marketing push, and that's why about 2 weeks ago I'm like, Louie, I'm not a marketing person, please help me. How do we do this? How do we do this? Do we do it like UNICEF does it at the malls?
Yeah.
Right? I'm just asking. Maybe we get to that, right? But at this point, there is a momentum that came from the launches that we need to sustain. That's why the quarterly activities, that's why the monthly activities, and that's why the big November event. And then next year, we're planning a big nationwide event. I think it's not in the slides, but we can share it with you. To introduce really IQOR Cares to everyone, right? Our vendors as well, our suppliers. If they want to help, why not?
So, sorry So, donations, employees, or whoever is involved with IQOR.
Yes, if they
So
want
far.
to donate, yes. Yeah. Like in the US, we just had a golf tournament. It's a yearly golf tournament. The one for 2023 happened last month.
2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months ago already, and we raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for that. And again, it doesn't go to IQOR, it goes to IQOR Cares.
Thank you, ma'am, for that question. If I may also add, and this is to highlight the numbers of our IQOR CARES recipients or beneficiaries, we have about a total of 187 people that since its inception.
Since before.
Yes, 187. The 54 earlier is just for the Philippines. Yes, there. I have a question that was texted earlier. Can non-IQORians donate to IQOR CARES? I think that's the same question.
We answered that earlier. Yes. We will not turn down any single peso or $100 from Jin extra. Anything.
IQORcares.com.
IQORcares.com.
Click on donate and just, have your
And what we found is, yeah, even our we have many different logos, for example. They know about this, and I know of several examples where they click on donate. The only thing is if you use a credit card, it goes to global, but you can specify, right, that you want to help Philippine IQOR, you can do that.
What question?
Thank you. Marco.
Yeah. So, just one question. Does IQOR Care extends its help to IQORian retirees? Or do you have any plan or programs for that?
IQORian
Retirees.
Is there a certain tenure, like 10-year employee?
Not that I know of. It's a good question. So 90 days is the cutoff, right?
The cutoff.
You need to be 90 days.
90 days with the company. But no, I haven't heard of any
I don't
So
know.
far,
after
wala.
employment program.
So,
I'll be retiring next year, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we haven't got into that yet.
Any more questions?
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.